The costume, the coffee, and the echo. A love letter to what's real. You say you're waiting. You say you're discerning. You say you're growing. But what if, beneath the sermons and self-help playlists, you're just stalling? What if the whole story isn't about finding someone? What if it's about losing who you thought you had to be? Let's go deep. Let's pull the curtain all the way back. Let's not just tickle the ego with clever lines. Let's feed the soul with something that sticks to the ribs. How are you going to spot the imposters when you're inside the costume? You're walking around looking for authenticity while rehearsing your lines in the mirror. You're scanning people for lies while your own smile is glued on with social glue. You call it discernment, but really, you're just trying to find someone who matches the role you cast without ever holding auditions. That's the real trap. Imposters don't sneak past your discernment. They match your disguise. They match your vibe. They match your fear. They match your need to be seen a certain way without ever having to be that way. And here's the haunting part. They don't betray you. They just reflect the version of you you're still performing. It's hard to spot the costume on someone else when yours is tailored, pressed, and dripping with compliments. Take the mask off. That's the only way to see who's real, and the only way to know who you are too. Why would love withhold love? You say, God has someone for me. Like the divine is holding your future in a cosmic vending machine, waiting for you to hit the right combo. One more therapy session, one more purity streak, one more right decision, and boom, your soulmate drops into your lap like a prize. That's not love. That's religion dressed up as romance. Love doesn't withhold. Love doesn't calculate. Love isn't keeping score while you journal your way to worthiness. That's the ego again, wearing God's name like a costume. Love is not an event, it's not a person, it's not a relationship status, it's your nature. And when you forget that, you start treating love like toast from a toaster. Like God is the appliance and you're just waiting on the ding. But the truth is, God is not the toaster. God is the heat. God is the fire inside the bread that already rose. You're not waiting on the flavor. You are it. What if you've never actually met a person? Just a storyline on legs? You say you're looking for connection, but you're really searching for agreement. You want someone to walk into the story you've spent years writing, and not change a single line, but people are not pages. They're not props for your healing. They're not set pieces for your spiritual aesthetic. You've never met them. Not really. You've met their hair, their tone, their resume, their timing. You've met the version of them that matches your checklist. You've met their performance and offered yours in return. And when the script starts breaking down, when they forget their line, you say they switched up, but maybe they didn't. Maybe you never saw them. You saw your need. You saw your fantasy. You saw your own reflection in a mirror made of flesh. Real love starts where the script ends, where you stop editing someone's soul to match your mood, where you let them surprise you, confuse you, undress your expectations. You want to meet someone real? Then stop dragging them into your daydream and start letting them be human. You call it temptation. But maybe it's just honesty knocking. You said you're lonely, and now you're calling every desire temptation, every urge the enemy. But what if it's not temptation at all? What if it's honesty? What if it's not the devil but the mirror? What if the ache isn't something to resist but something to listen to? Not to obey blindly, but to understand deeply. The ego calls anything that threatens its plan temptation. But the spirit knows truth shows up disguised as interruption. Temptation isn't always sin. Sometimes it's just the end of your false timeline. Maybe the feeling that won't leave you alone is the voice saying, "Hey, this story ain't working, it never was. Can we try something else now?" Not a fantasy, not a soulmate, not a fix, just honesty. And honesty doesn't knock forever. Eventually, it walks away. And all you're left with is a quiet house full of ideas that never loved you back. You think you're searching for love, but maybe what you're actually searching for is permission. Permission to stop performing, permission to stop earning, permission to stop pretending that loneliness is a punishment and start seeing it as a pause, the real ones. They don't need your mask. They don't need your performance. They just need your presence. So take off the costume. Stop waiting on the toaster. Toss the script. Open the door. Because what you've been calling temptation might just be truth, whispering through the cracks.